Hey Royals, I'm Kai, hope you're doing well, and in this video I'm going to give you a 360 tour of the entire snake room, so stick around, you're watching Lucas Landon Royals. Hey Royals, today has been a productive day, and I say that because I am building 3 new snake racks along with a proof of concept for a new snake enclosure, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But I am tired. I haven't finished building the racks, but I'm at a pause right now. I just got the heat tape in, so I'll be continuing to work on those snake racks. But like I said, I'm at a pause trying to catch my breath because I do have to clean out some tubs later. So I figured I'd take the moment while I'm resting to shoot a quick video. And what I like to do is just kind of stay on my chair that I'm on right now and just spin around and talk about each of the racks and my plans and what I'm doing with it and things like that. So let's take a look at the first rack, which is the one right behind the camera. I'm going to flip the camera over so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So this one right here is what I called my Rubbermaid rack, because the tubs are all Rubbermaid brand and the racks are PVC. All of my racks are made out of PVC. I actually showed how to build this rack on a video, on a DIY video. So if you want to know how I did that, I will put a link to that up here in the corner so you guys can check it out. Now I will be doing I guess a little review on this. I don't think it's going to take a whole video to do a review. Maybe talk a little bit about the pros and cons of these. So far, not many cons. I don't have that many issues with using these Rubbermaid tubs. They function just fine. Actually, I think they function really well. So much so that I am actually building another one. So this is in progress. It's going to be another rack just like this one. It's going to hold 16 of these Rubbermaid tubs. You can see that I don't have the supports, I don't have the back, I don't have the heat. And in front here is the frame for the base. So it's going to get 4 casters attached to it. And I will be adding a sheet of styrofoam to act as insulation so that the very bottom level is not exposed to the cold concrete. It'll have at least some form of insulation to shield it and retain some heat. Now, if we pan over to this side, you can see this is the original snake room right here. So from this corner of the Rubbermaid tub and back, and here and back, this is the original snake room. This is what I had to work with for several years. And you can see it's quite tight in here, but the good thing about building your own racks is you get to customize it. You get to basically utilize as much space as you can. By customizing it, you really form or build the racks to fit the space that you have. And right here I have what I call my grow out rack. I think it holds 12 down here, another 12, so that's 24, and then 16 more up top. And in the middle here, I have a pull-out table. So that's just a tabletop. I got that idea from Freedom Breeder. Of course, they use metal, and they pull that out and then slide back in. Mine are made out of wood, and the mechanism that allows the drawer to come in and out, or the tabletop to move in and out, is a soft close, like cabinet drawer kind of deal. So basically, it pulls out, and I do a lot of my egg pulling videos on top of this tabletop. So I take the female, the whole tub, put it on top of the tabletop. I record as I pull her off the eggs and then set the eggs into an egg box. So this is where I do all of my egg pulling. And like I said, these are all the grow out tubs. Things have changed over the years. This used to not be all grow out tubs. It used to be half grow out and half hatchling tubs. But since then, the hatchlings have moved on to the other side, which I'll get to in just a moment. Beyond this rack are 2 of these 28 quart tub racks, and I believe they hold 10 each, so they're 10 tall. So I got one here and one in the back. And like I said, when you customize and build your own stuff, you maximize your floor space and you utilize all the space that you have. So actually, they're a little bit different. The one in the front holds 10 28 quart tubs, and these are all ShareAlike tubs. The one in the back actually holds 8 of those ShareAlike tubs, but because of that pipe, I wasn't able to fit the last 2 up there. So those 2 tubs are a slightly different brand. They're just a little bit more narrower, but it works well. They're actually, I believe, still the same footprint as the 28 core tubs. They're just not tapered as you get to the top lip of the tub, so they don't stick out as far. And then above that is a overflow hatchling rack. I call it the overflow because I don't really want to use it. It's so high up, I have to get a stool to climb up and down. It's just inconvenient, but I want to be ready with tubs just in case I get more hatchlings than I expect. Again, all of these are built out of PVC. Like I said, they're just more stable and they don't swell and warp over time like wood. And now if we go around the bend, you'll see another 10 tall 28 quart tub rack. The tubs are also ShareAlike brand, so it looks just like this one, but it's set further back, so you can't see it from this angle. But what you can see is this one right here, and this is the 12 tall, and I believe these hold tubs that are also 28 quart tubs, but they're not the ShareAlike brand. They're a different brand that are a little bit lower profile, and the sides are not as tapered, just like the 2 that I mentioned up there. So that holds 12, like I said, and then that actually opens towards the wall that way, which is why it looks kind of awkward. It looks like it doesn't open, but it actually pushes out that way or pulls out that way. And then next to that is the hatchling rack. Like I said, there were some hatchlings on this side that I now moved to this side. This has tubs running 4 across, and I believe I have 16 levels going up. The top 3 are turned off right now. The bottom one is also turned off, and I kind of just consolidated all of my hatchlings to the middle. Just easier to work with the ones in the middle, not having to bring a ladder or kneel down on the floor to clean them and things like that. So that's kind of what I do right now. These are all the holdbacks from 2020. And now if we pan over here, this is a 16 tub rack and it holds 28 quart tubs. These are the ShareAlike brand. Aside from 3 females, the rest of them are all females that have gotten up to size or near breeding size this season. I actually posted 2 videos of females that are up to size or could be breeding this season. So I'll put a link to that somewhere on the screen so you guys can check it out if you're interested in seeing what new females may be breeding in the 2021 season. And then next to that, I did mention earlier that I have 3 racks that I'm in the process of building. I showed you the Rubbermaid one, and now over here is another of these 16 slots for 28 quart tub racks. So this is another one right here. You can see I do have the tubs fitted in there, but the heating is not done, the back is not done. I don't have an immediate need for this. This is actually the last thing on my to-do list. The Rubbermaid one is probably the first highest priority one. And then it would be this other one up here. And this is the 3rd rack that I'm building. This is gonna hold 12 of the grow out tubs, and I think the grow out tub size is 12 or 16 quarts. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to take a look, but I do have some animals that are in the hatchling size tubs, and they are just constantly flipping over the waters and making a mess. Sometimes when they're really active, those are the ones that need to upgrade to the larger size tubs. So that's why I'm building this one. However, there are some hatchlings that are even bigger, but are less active. They're pretty much content with just chilling out in the back and waiting for food. So those are the ones that can stay in the hatchling size tubs. And I prefer to have them in a more confined space. I feel like they're more comfortable and feed a little bit better when they're in a smaller and tighter area. But of course, for the animals that do want the space and they're active, of course, I'm gonna give them the larger space. So that is the grow out rack that I'm building. Now, if we continue to pan over, what you're gonna see is the incubator. Now I have 2. The very top one is a styrofoam one. That's the very, very first incubator that I built. Initially, when I built it, it only held 1 egg box, and then I modified it to hold 2 egg boxes, and now it's been modified again. It can hold a maximum of 4 egg boxes but that's actually not in use right now because I prefer to use this one. And this holds 9 egg boxes, as you can see. Now, if this ever overflows, I will turn on the very, very old styrofoam egg box, and as they hatch, I'll just move whatever's in here down so that I only have one incubator going. Earlier this season, you did see that I bought another cooler, and that is a 6 tall cooler, so it's gonna hold a ton more eggs, a ton more clutches, but that's not completely done yet. For now, I think this season I can probably live with just using this one as the primary and then using that one as a secondary or overflow. Now, if we pan over here, I know you guys may not be interested in fish, but there is a reason I wanted to show this to you. If you guys have been following me, you know that originally over here there was a 75-gallon tank, and then underneath that, you guys probably didn't know, but underneath that was a lot of plumbing. So since I moved the 75-gallon tank, all that plumbing went with it, and that's why you see all of these tubes sticking out, tubes and valves sticking out, because I used to be able to do water changes very easily. A lot of it was automated, but now I can't. So that's why every time you look at this, you see all the tubes hanging, and the waters are almost never full because I'm always in the middle of doing a water change. But basically the reason I want to show this to you is because these are not going to be here for that long. Right now I am still breeding discus. I'm going to give it a few more shots at trying to breed that guy along with another fish that is in a different tank right now. But what I'd like to do is put in that grow out tub, grow out rack that you just saw earlier. That's going to go here. And then maybe build some more above it when I need it. By the way, there is another tank up there. That's a 20-gallon, that's 29, that's 29. And the reason another reason why I'm showing this to you is eventually these tanks are going to be converted into display reptile enclosures. And how I'm doing that, I'll show you a little bit later, right after I talk about this one. So this is the massive hatchling rack that I built. It's the biggest one that I've built to date, and of course you guys know I made a video on this one. Down here, the cars that are kind of ivory color, these are the holdbacks, and then there's only a couple left that are still available for sale. But everything is pretty much turned off. You can see I'm just using the bottom to store all of those water bowls. But anyway, let me get to how I'm converting these into display enclosures. So this is what I'm thinking of doing. This is a old 20-gallon tank. As you saw earlier, the 20s and 29s have the same footprint. So eventually I'll use the 29s, which are going to be a little bit taller, where in this case it'll be deeper. But as far as the dimensions go for the height and the width, 20s and 29s are the same. So these used to be used for fish, and then I changed them to be used for snakes when I just started with ball pythons. And then I converted them to be used for rats, and that's why I got these lids, and they used to have a wire mesh covering them. And then I used them for fish again. You can see the holes got drilled for those overflows for the plumbing and the water changing. But now I'm going to be using the aquariums for reptiles again. I'm trying to salvage or reuse some of the equipment that I had before. Like I said, this lid it's got a metal frame, and it used to have a mesh, and it was really easy to just pull out the mesh by first cutting it and then just ripping it, and then you have to take a pair of pliers, and any pieces of wire that are still stuck, you just have to use a pair of pliers to pluck them out. So eventually what I'm thinking of doing is, instead of that mesh, I'm going to be putting on a plexiglass. So 2 panels of plexiglass, and you can see that these come with clips. So this lid in particular has hinges down the center, so you can only open half of it if you like. So I have clips here and here. So this side is going to be fixed for the most part. It's going to stay closed. And then I have one clip right here. And so if I ever wanted to get inside the enclosure to get the animal, to handle it, to clean it, to maintain it, I only have to pop open this clip, and then this panel would fold out. It would fold outwards like that. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing with my finger here. It would fold out at the hinge right here, so then I can go inside. So this one is not the one that I'm going to be using. This is just a mock-up. I just want to make sure that everything's going to work. Eventually, I'll be using the 29-gallon tanks. Like I said, they're going to be deeper. It's going to offer more space for the snake or for whatever reptiles I'm going to put in here. And I also have some glass that I got cut, and the glass is going to be attached with silicone on the inside. So it's going to be about a 2 to 3 inch strip of glass on the inside attached all the way across. That way it can be watertight. I can have a little bit of water on the inside. I can put, you know, sphagnum moss or you know, rocks or rubble and have some water in there. That way it'll keep the humidity up if it's something that requires high humidity, and I don't have to worry about substrate and stuff kicking out and getting trapped here, because I'm thinking, like, if I don't have the glass, not only can I not hold water in there, but even if it's an animal that doesn't require high humidity, the substrate might get kicked out, get trapped right here. So when I pop this open, all that dirt and debris and whatever is going to just fall out, and then I have to clean it up, and you know, I don't want to have to do that. So I'm going to try to keep this as simple as possible. Of course, you know, if you keep maintenance easy, you're going to do it more often. If it's going to be a difficult task to maintain, then you're probably going to keep pushing it off, and that's not good for the animal, and it's not fair for the animal. So this is the enclosure. This is the proof of concept. Of course, I do have to get the plexiglass. I got to seal that up, and you know, put the animal in there and just let the animal cruise around, and then check out its behaviors and then modify it if needed. Now, I know you guys might think that glass is bad. Some of you might have the idea that reptiles don't belong in glass. Glass is for fish, but depending on where you live, you can make it work. It might take a little bit extra work. It might take a little bit more effort to making a glass terrarium enclosure work versus a plastic or PVC or plexiglass. But I think glass can work. The amount of work you put into it is going to depend on the animal and where you live and your situation and your climate and things like that. So I do think it works. And just having one is not going to be a big deal. I think I can manage one, maybe even two. But of course, I wouldn't want to put all of my ball pythons in glass, because that's just going to be way too much work to maintain proper conditions for them. But just one or two, I can pay attention to them and you know, adjust as needed, the humidity, the temperature, and things like that. But that glass enclosure is not going to be ready for quite some time. I don't even know what I want to put in it yet, so I'm not in a hurry. I do want to continue breeding discus, at least give it a few more tries. This guy in particular is actually a wild caught, so they are a bit more challenging to breed. But like I said, I'm gonna try to give it a few more tries, and regardless if it works or not, these two will eventually be converted into reptile enclosures. I think adding a display enclosure, maybe even to the snake room, would add a pop of color and add some more excitement and interest, especially when you first walk in through the doors. Unfortunately, those display enclosures are going to be at the bottom of my priority list because I have all those other racks to finish up. Speaking of priority, I do have to get going on cleaning out those hatchlings and grow out tubs. So that about wraps it up for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new to this channel and you want to be informed of future uploads, make sure you're subscribed and ring that notification bell. As always, thanks for watching. Please share, and I'll see you guys next time.